Hi Scorpio, this is your forecast for the month of August 2017. If you have visited me before, thank you for returning, and if you are new, welcome. This is a general reading for Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Rising, or Scorpio Moon. It might also be helpful for you to watch your rising and moon sign. You can join me on Facebook and Instagram for daily insights on tarot and astrology, as well as my pay-per-view channel, vimeo.com/thealchemistastrologer, for love, finance, and other readings. So, Scorpio, this first week you are dealing with a major card. The devil is in the house. And this can go in different directions. For some of you, there's just a very strong focus on business. Some of you may be dealing with Capricorn people. Some of you may be dealing with sexuality. But many of you are dealing with some kind of situation where you feel bound in some way. Now, for some of you, this is a self-imposed limitation. But for many of you, you are stuck and feeling as if you are confined in some way because you're dealing with something that's unhealthy, something that leaves you feeling oppressed or imprisoned in some way. It could be a codependent relationship, or maybe you're dealing with your fears or your pessimism. Some of you are facing an addiction, an obsession, possibly with power, sex, or money in some way. But this is a week that is focused on a chronic behavior or condition, something that keeps you in a self-perpetuating pattern of behavior that's more likely to be negative than not. This is a week where you are relying on your animal instincts, your survival instincts, and you feel very strongly about pushing your agenda and getting your way. And this devil card ensures that you can influence not only other people, but you can create, a mindset for yourself where you convince yourself of a situation. You can talk anybody into anything this week. So you've got that silver tongue and you know how to use it. And like I said, you can also do a mind job on yourself. So you're going to have to work extra hard this week to stave off any, small temptations, because those are going to prove challenging for you. This is going to be a week where you focus on both the emotional and the material and getting ahead. And you feel very strongly about that. So much so that you may be tempted once again to bend the rules a little bit, push the ethical boundaries, convince yourself that the method you go about a situation, whether it's right or wrong, this is the correct path for you in order to get what you want. Now, if you are on top of your game, this is going to be a week where you get a couple of strokes of luck that happen for you out of the blue, or some amazing or brilliant idea occurs to you. Maybe you come up with a solution, or you're especially creative this week, and whatever you come up with kind of saves your hide, at the last minute. However, some of you may be pushing your luck a little bit too far. And if that's the case, you're going to have to deal with the consequences of that on some level. But this can be a week where, if you remain practical, if you use your common sense and you keep that enthusiasm in check, though, if you maintain a balance, this is going to give you the level head to know, what you can take on and what you can't. So it's going to prevent you from reaching farther than beyond your capability. This is going to be a week again, though, where you feel very intense and very strongly about situations. So you may really want to be noticed. You may want that personal recognition. You may be really going for the gold with regard to some kind of achievement. And also you gain a strong psychological insight into other people and what they can bring to your agenda and what their intentions are. You see, you're able to read between the lines and understand people's motivations, whether they're putting that all out there or not. This is a week, though, where you can get into trouble if you know, the devil is a card that has to do with challenges, delays, extra responsibility, things that maybe should be easier. It seems like you're having to go through a whole lot just to make something happen. And so if you're faced with that, this could be a week where there's a greater tendency toward procrastination, putting things off, not taking care of things when you should, or some risky behavior, taking, some foolish chances, or being reckless and behaving in ways that actually hurt you rather than advance you. It could be that, again, you're dealing with fear, pessimism, greed, selfishness, whether on the part of others or that darker part of yourself. And you want to be loved, you want to be accepted, you want to be desired, and yet the fear of that can be overwhelming. You may want to help, you may want to be of assistance, you may want to give to others. Yet you're struggling with some kind of fear that people are going to use you, that they're going to exploit you, take advantage of you, that they're insincere, or that they're going to want from you more than you are willing to give. Now, on the other end, you may be pushing yourself too hard. You may be pushing beyond your limits. And so you may think that you're taking on a challenge, and it may seem monumental, but you may feel that you have the capability to deal with it, when in truth it's bigger than you are, and it's a no-win situation. So knowing what is a true challenge and a worthy endeavor rather than something that is an impossible dream or task is important this week. But there is change in the air, some kind of transformation, and it could involve an ending of sorts, or facing some kind of truth, or again, dealing with some kind of delay where you're waiting in vain for something. Whatever the case, this is going to be a week where being ethical, doing the right thing, acting with integrity, being a decent human being is going to be very important. Now, the second week, there seems to be a feeling of loss. Maybe you had to make a decision last week and now, it's come to some unhappy ending. You feel a pessimism because you're suffering some kind of emotional letdown. Maybe there's been some betrayal or loss or regret on your part. And so there's a sense of mourning or grief in some way. Maybe, there's a crisis that you're dealing with. Could be some family problems, some marital problems, issues where you're not getting the love, care, and respect that you feel that you deserve. It could be, a tangible loss. Maybe you're losing business, or you're having some kind of possession taken away from you. Hopefully, though, while you may be brooding, this could be exaggerated pessimism. It could be that things are not as bad as you think that they are. Whatever it is, you're feeling perhaps a sense of burnout, maybe resentful or bitter about where you are in a situation. Now, last week could also have been an ex, so some of you may still be dealing with, something connected to the past, a lover from the past, that lover that got away from you. Whatever it is, you are strongly aware of, your sense of loss, and the past has a bearing on that. But this card is a reminder that even though the devil speaks of bondage, it's not necessary for you to stay chained to that past. This is going to be a week where you do feel a sense of doubt. You're doubting yourself, your capability, what you're doing, your work, those around you. And again, those fears from last week are cropping up. Am I being taken advantage of? Do the people I'm with really care about me, or are they using me? Do I have what it takes? So there's this battle between your head and your heart this week. You may be taking a closer look at something, digging deep and pulling that curtain back. Now, the way to get past this, of course, always, is to take care of yourself. Do a paradigm shift and look at the positive things that you have to look forward to. Whatever it is, there's something you're not seeing. There's still potential. There are still 2 cups behind this person on this card. And so it's really important, especially if you've suffered through some kind of setback or you're dealing with some kind of disappointment, for you to shift your focus, to release that and move toward the positive in order to manifest the positive. Once you do that, you'll find that the situation itself will begin to shift and things will begin to run more smoothly for you. You are a co-creator, of course, and so where your fears are and the energy is directed, that is what you are growing. What you fear, you attract to yourself. So having a positive attitude, a positive outlook, will do nothing but create a more positive situation for you. And holding on to pessimism and negative situations and behavior patterns will only serve to increase your worry. Now, this could be about taking on responsibilities that don't belong to you. And so this is going to be a week where you realize that you are responsible for you and others are responsible for themselves. So the more you rely on yourself to make whatever reality happen for you that you want, the better off you'll be. And likewise, the more you expect of other people to come through for you, it will only drive the point home that you're gonna have to do more for yourself. If you are expecting the worst, this is what that week will be, a week of disappointment. So this is about digging deep into self and trying to pull yourself out of a hole, out of a mood, so that you can create a more positive situation. This is also a warning, though. You're to learn a lesson from whatever this limitation or extra responsibility has been. And again, that could be coming through an ex, more demands being put upon you in some way, could be dealing with authority figures, older people. This is about smartening up, not dealing with people or getting involved or re-involved with people, situations, habits, things that have only disappointed you in the past and are likely to do that once again. Now, the third week, you have this 6 of Pentacles. And so this is, taking on a new mindset, possibly. You have a stronger sense of purpose. There is, again, this connection to resources and what you have versus what you don't have. So you may be very aware of, who's got what and is it fair? What is the balance in things? So there are issues of giving and receiving, possibly surrounding financial assistance, benevolence, some type of exchange. Some of you may be dealing with the social system in some way, but there is a strong focus on getting what you deserve or helping others or receiving help. Maybe you're focused on repaying some type of debt or getting some type of material gain, perhaps through either a loan or some type of bonus. or some type of business opportunity or promotion. Now, some of you, again, there's a focus on what's being shared and is it fair? So you're focused on fair financial dealings. You may have contact with somebody who's buying something, or with some type of investor, or somebody who loans money. Somebody may be, giving a service of some sort or being charitable. But for others of you, you're on the other end of it. And maybe because of that, you feel as if you're an indentured servant. You're bound to a situation. Maybe you owe some money, or you're having to depend on someone else for your basic necessities. So this week, again, is about some kind of review, your money, the time you're spending, the opportunities in front of you. This is about not being wasteful, being mindful of what is in front of you. This is going to be a week where you can connect with people who can help you, who can advance your interests. And so you need to be very conscious of any and all opportunities. And that's why it's important, for you to get away from last week's energy where you were ignoring the partnerships that are still standing, because those may be connections that can help you reach some type of an objective. So this is a week to look at all opportunities. Otherwise, if you're not mindful, if you're not going over, the bottom line for things and trying to get the best deal, the best price, you may end up paying something higher than you expected. It could be that, you've made some kind of error in judgment that is creating additional complications for you with regard to your finances or with regard to your emotional connections. Maybe you're pushing too hard to create something and it's causing some friction in your connections to others. For some of you, you are finding that you're being limited by some type of health issue. And so this could be a week where, you're not feeling on par as far as your health. And maybe you're having difficulty sleeping. Maybe there's some nervous tension that's contributing to your negative outlook. It could be that some of you are having to pick up the slack. You're having to deal with the consequences of making a judgment. And again, a faulty judgment, either through financial neglect or irresponsibility or somebody's immaturity. Now, that could be yours or that of someone else's. If you are stuck in a dead-end job, you may feel as if, you just want to break out of there. Although some type of confining situation doesn't make this necessarily the best time to seek that new job. In the positive, you are feeling a greater sense of purpose. You may be moving past that negative and deciding, that you're going to make some changes that could improve your life. If you were struggling with a legal issue, if the limitation was along those lines, this could be a week where you actually resolve that and it may go in your favor. For some of you, you have something to look forward to because you're getting some kind of recognition, some kind of advancement, some kind of bonus or promotion. Whatever it is, you're becoming more conscientious about what needs to be done with regard to your finances or your health, and you're putting into action those changes. So this could be a week where you are making a decision. Now, the final week, you have this Hermit card. It's a major week for you. So because we're ending on a note that is a major card, the outcome of situations this month may be largely out of your hands. This is a week that may, again, focus on healing in some way, health issues. Maybe you're taking a mental health week, but you are doing some contemplation. You may need some psychological space, especially if last week you were dealing with some nervous tension, some health issues, you couldn't sleep. You need some time from self this week, and you're going to withdraw and maybe spend more time alone. This is a week about having patience and doing some reflection, perhaps even getting some advice with your situation. You could be seeking those answers within or getting some from somebody who is able to give you some wise counsel. Somebody could be making up for something. There could be some atonement for a situation this week. You may be getting with people who are, very spiritual this week. For some of you, this isn't forced upon you. You've decided that you need to be isolated. Maybe you're doing some research or you're working on something that requires that you remove yourself. So you may be in a period of preparation in order to do something. And this could be a week where you're removing yourself from others, having some quiet time because you're focused on being creative or starting something. And you're gaining more awareness that there are possibilities for you. This is going to be a karmic week of addressing those things that you have been avoiding, tying up those loose ends, closing out things for yourself. You're at the end of some cycle, or you're approaching the end of it. And you've just got a little bit further to go. So this is going to be a week that gives you some spiritual protection, particularly if you're dealing with loss, stress, disappointment, crisis. You're going to be okay. This is a week of observance. You learn more by listening than anything else. And this is a week also to be practical, using your common sense, putting two and two together to see if it all adds up. So you're going to be able to make some choices and decisions that are best for you if you stick to the facts, if you are objective, if you are intellectual, if you are practical. You can make good decisions to help you get ahead. This is a week about seeing things clearly, looking at you, looking at others, looking at a situation and dealing with the reality of it, the truth of it in all of its unfiltered glory. And so the sooner you're able to see something for what it is, the easier it's going to be for you to move past a situation and move onward. This is about communicating with others. And again, you may choose to withdraw from a situation and, while you may deal with others, you may decide to keep people at a distance. Now, that could be because you're still dealing with that devil energy where you're afraid somebody's going to be making too many demands or they're going to want more from you than you're willing to give. So you may be keeping people at arm's length. Now, this is also a week where there's going to be a strong focus. There's a strong focus on something. It's pointing toward this Six of Pentacles. So maybe a strong focus on your resources, a strong focus on improving something, repairing something, mending something, your finance, your emotional well-being, your health. But you have to make sure that you're not so focused on just one area of life that you allow other important aspects of your life to get past you, while you're doing that. Now, because this card is strongly tied to Virgo, maybe you're dealing with a Virgo. If not, this could be a week where if you're not careful, you may take on the lesser aspect of the sign of Virgo, or maybe you're dealing with people who are. And that would be overly critical, judgmental, nitpicky, knowing or thinking you know more than you do. And having that attitude, you will find yourself in a confrontation with another person, where one of you is going to try to prove that you know more than the other one. And what's going to happen is, obviously in a battle, somebody has to lose. Now, whether that's you, I don't know. But somebody's going to discover that they don't know what they think they know. And the point of that is, again, some spiritual awareness. Knowing the cost, and the consequences of being judgmental rather than standing in your own truth, in your own lane. So this is a week where logic is being tested. Whether, you realize that up until this point you've been just living in a fantasy world or not taking the action that you need to. Now, the underlying energy is the Knight of Cups. This is more water energy. Perhaps this is you. This could be Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female. Maybe it's another person or just the traits of this Knight. But this Knight is somebody who is an idealist. They are a champion for the underdog. And this could go back to, resources or trying to take on the battles of other people. Because again, this Knight is very, he's got a lot of feelings. He wants to help those in need. Now, there could be issues connected to intuition or the emotional or psychological aspect of a situation. Some of you, maybe you're dealing with a therapist or a counselor. This is somebody who's very emotionally oriented. So, maybe you're dealing with spirituality or somebody who is a mediator. This could be somebody religious or someone who is creative or intuitive in some way. For some of you, if this was a health issue, you may be involved with something that has to, or if this is some kind of business or health issue, educational issue, you may be dealing with human resources and personnel, or maybe you're dealing with some charitable foundation or a nonprofit of some sort, or something in the humanities or public relations. Whatever it is, this is something that may be people or personal growth oriented in some way. This is going to be a month of emotional coming and goings. You may be getting invitations, there may be visits, there are offers on the table, proposals to deal with. Some of these are going to be pleasurable. They're connected to amusement or, some kind of emotional attraction. But this is going to be a month possibly of new relationships, some type of agreement, some kind of union. Again, some type of offer. This is a month of acting on something, starting something, and taking the initiative. This could be a month of good timing in a lot of areas for you. Negatively, this is about, some area of weakness, being passive aggressive, or having a very fragile sense of identity, dealing with ego issues, or not willing to take responsibility for actions. This could be, having connections with people who deliberately mislead by being vague or not telling the whole truth about something. So, for some of you, you're going to have feelings, whatever they may be, that you didn't expect, and they're going to come on very quickly. You didn't expect them, and maybe you didn't even intend to feel these feelings. But for some of you, you're dealing with issues where, again, somebody's not being completely honest. Somebody's not playing, their hand fully. They're not showing you all the cards. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're not revealing everything. You're playing something close to your chest, or maybe you're dealing with somebody like that. Whatever it is, this is going to be a month similar to a chess game. You have the psychological subtlety to outwit somebody or to win them over to your side. And that Devil card is very important. Again, you can influence other people. You can get them to do what you want to. You can seduce another person, or you're seduced, or you can, trick your own mind into a course of action that may not be justified. This is going to center around your connections with others and how well you are absorbing what's going on in your environment, what's happening around you, what's happening to you. And it's also going to help you meet a goal. But as a result, your perspective, your awareness, your understanding is going to change. You're going to have your value system and your beliefs challenged and tested. And this is going to center around partnerships in some way, agreements, contracts. And either you're going to turn your back on an agreement or you're going to try to salvage some connection you have. There are going to be some benefits that come through other people, some kind of favor, and it's going to be connected to that devil card and, you know, the exchanges you have with another. This is going to be about, you know, some of you are realizing, again, you need to focus on your mental health, your well-being, your sense of stability. And so there's a need for you to relax. That devil card means that maybe you've been driving yourself very hard and there's a chronic negative behavior. Maybe, you know, you're becoming a workaholic in some way. And so you've worked very hard to create some type of strong foundation for yourself. And this month, you need to come to the realization that you need some rest. You need to recuperate. You need to pay attention to the more emotional side of life. What has been a cold and harsh environment for you needs to transform into something more supportive, something more loving. So you need to take care of yourself and have some relaxation, have some fun. You need to spend some time relaxing with people and situations that matter to you, your family, your friends. You need to enjoy life. You need to indulge in pleasure. And for some of you, you're beginning to realize that the responsibility and hard work that you have put in is beginning to pay off for you in some measure. All right, Scorpio, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. And of course, you can always book a personal reading at thealchemistastrologer.com.